Do you believe that global affairs are characterized by cooperation, where states realize the power of working together to solve global problems? After all, we have numerous trade agreements, regional organizations, and the United Nations that all encourage states to work together.
Or do you believe that the international system runs on the principle of every man for himself? As Thucydides once said, the strong do what they can, and the weak do what they must. Realism has long been one of the most prominent theoretical foundations of global politics and traditionally focuses solely on the sovereign state. This focus on the state stems from a foundational belief in the anarchic nature of the international system, meaning there is no power above the state, making everything that happens in the international realm unregulated and uncertain. Due to this anarchic state, realists argue that states are constantly seeking power for survival. For the realist, you can never trust anyone and you can only rely on yourself. So this constant accumulation of power acts as a means of protection and security.
On the other hand, liberals see the world as one of cooperation over competition, where states that work together grow stronger together. To enable this cooperative system, liberals will stress the importance of liberal institutions. In part, this means the support of ideas like free trade and organizations like the United Nations that promote peaceful relations between states. A major belief of liberalism in international relations is the concept of the democratic peace theory that argues liberal democracies are so alike in interests and values and see mutual benefit in cooperation, it makes conflict less likely. After all, why go to war with a trading partner where you see the mutual benefit of that economic cooperation?
So, what best explains the state of global affairs today?
First, let's think about power. Liberalism has a strong focus on soft power over hard power. While liberals will acknowledge that war might be necessary to pursue liberal interests, if we're past the necessity of preparing for war, let's look at ways we can use power to bring states together instead of driving them apart. Sure, some major powers like the United States might still need a strong military to keep the peace, as it were, but for the rest of us, let's use that money towards economic and social progress. If we're focused on collectively tackling global issues, let's use all the tools at our disposal to help make that happen. Liberals look to empower and give more legitimacy to non-state actors like NGOs that help in fighting global injustices. And major global issues like climate change won't be solved in a world of states constantly growing their own power at the expense of others. Let's also consider the European Union, one of the greatest successes of liberalism in action. The economic power wielded by the common market, with all the EU states joining forces, has ushered in tremendous economic growth.
In contrast, realism aligns itself with hard power and what realists often refer to as capabilities. These capabilities are things such as geographic territory and demographic power, and most commonly, military force and advanced military technology, all of which allow you to stay ahead of the enemy and mitigate the risk of attack or invasion. Take the United States, for example. While economic and social progress are important, the United States still remains one of the most powerful countries in the world, and this is due to its ability to maintain a full spectrum capability, meaning that it has high capability across all hard power assets, not because it acts cooperatively in international institutions. In fact, some might say that it's done the opposite of that in recent years.
Okay, but under the Trump administration, American global respect, influence, and soft power took a hit. That's not a recipe for long-term success.
Well, it doesn't matter who the president was. A realist would consider the United States acting cooperatively for mutual benefit to be a grave mistake, as you can never trust the intentions of another state in this anarchic international system.
Next, let's consider bringing democracy to Iraq, Afghanistan, and other former authoritarian regimes. While obviously there have been some setbacks, at least attempting some form of liberal democracy has to be preferred over the dictatorships of Saddam Hussein and the Taliban.
Not quite. The Iraq War, often seen as part of the War on Terror, is a poignant example of realism at work in the international system. Realists would argue that the United States seized the opportunity to enhance their power capabilities. The US's infiltration of Iraq and Afghanistan have actually done more harm than good, leading to instability and ongoing conflict. The motive was power, not altruism and the promotion of democracy. And this can be proven by the less than ideal results of the mission.
Exactly. The realist approach of the United States produced less than stellar results and failed to produce long-lasting change. With more meaningful cooperation with the international community and more in line with liberal institutions over the United States' unilateral approach, well, maybe we could have had a different result.
Yeah, you can hold on to that liberal utopia in your dreams. So, what do you think better explains the behavior of actors in global politics? Do you agree that states should never trust the intentions of others and should always look out for themselves?
Or that states see the benefit of cooperation as being beneficial for themselves as well? Should we not choose hope over fear and have optimism for the future? Something to aspire to?
If you learned something from this video, hit that like button. Which theory do you believe is most convincing? Let us know in the comments below.
And as always, subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future, and we'll see you again next time.